Well, if we look at S0328 criticism, let me take you through something there. Devotion is far easier to achieve than doing it via Kriya. I mean, except, some people clearly do it very quickly via Kriya, but not everybody. Some people seem to spend forever at it. And it looked as though Paramhansa was. He actually, even when he's experienced a transcendental state, he still says to his guru, I want to see God. I want to meet God. Can you help? And of course his guru says, open your eyes, boy. I mean, this is heuristically speaking. You have found him. He's not some dear old man with a beard and, sitting in the sky. And you know that. What are you looking for? You see, Hinduism doesn't teach like Christianity, well, at least evangelical Christianity does, conversion. It's not a gradual process. Religion is, and religion hopefully will include conversion along route and, if you like, transcendental experiences. But what the secular looks for, and the unborn again, if you like, religious look for, is a steady improvement towards some state, which in Hinduism would be called transcendental, but but in Christianity is, blessed assurance, perhaps. But what neither realizes, except, say, the evangelical Christian, he knows, that you need conversion. Something happens to you spiritually, massive. What, Jesus in chatting to Nicodemus in, is it John chapter 3? Check it, I'm not sure. I think it's John 3, isn't it? You need to be born again. It's a dramatic change. And you can find that very simply, very easily, much quicker than doing Kriya. You simply practice gratitude, thankfulness. First of all, you're probably way down under, and you need to practice at least being thankful for the good things. And when you realize just how many there are in your life and somehow significant they are, you're overcome with assurance. You start to think, oh, gosh, I can trust him for everything, can't I, with these amazing miracles going on in my life? You open your eyes, you start to see the incredible provision he's given you. Your confidence grows. You start to thank him in trust now for the small things that are wrong, and then the bigger things. And in the end, when you're faced with a calamity, you find you've even succeeded in applying it, thank God, in the major tragedies and difficulties of life. And you're flying. You've got the keys. You're transcending. You're devoted to God. I had fainted had I not believed to have seen the goodness of God in the land of the living. And you have. You realize, oh, I love God. Of course I love God. I value all this kindness from him. How could I not love him? You transcend. You're faced with, you go through the ceiling. I didn't come down for about 10 days. I mean, the whole of nature was just singing to me. I could pass some staff and people I know at the university out on the campus around the lakes, and I know they're just thinking, what's happened to him? He must be in love. And of course he was, but not the way they thought. I'd been in love, and I let her go, and I thank God for letting her go, in trust. I was so happy that I could do this, that I could love for real, not love to hold and to keep and to trap against their good blessing, but give good blessing regardless of self. Not really. You start to realize God will have something else. Sure, I don't want to personally narrowly let this soul go, but because I find I love her. But she'll be happier with someone else. I'll let her go. There's more fish in the sea. God's always there for me. You realize your love's for God. You want him to exist even if you're certain by your arguments that he can't exist. I choose to believe he exists. I don't care whether he exists or not. I'm choosing to believe. And what's my justification? Well, I'm flying. I'd be mad not to. You think I'm going to give up this belief and faith for a life of unbelief? No way. I have seen the light. Conversion is like that. It's not preached in Hinduism, Buddhism, and transcendence is, and the way to transcendence seems to be, if you receive a miracle, especially in Hinduism, then this galvanizes you to be thankful to God and you love him for it. And then the transcendence comes, but the transcendence is not the miracle. It's still gratitude. You can't come but by gratitude. Gratitude is the very foundation of love. You value something. You're so thankful something is. And you're drawn to it, and you reform accordingly. Of course, your values are in accordance with this great gain that you realize you have. It's very selfish. Of course it is. I'm not claiming it's some selfless state. It's very selfish. It continues. Selfishness is the very foundation of life. And the foundation of eternal life is the perfection of selfishness, where yourself starts to certainly embraces God, and then embraces eventually all. And of course many religious people don't get that far. They say, oh no, there are evil people and we've got to keep them at bay, of course, and that's true. I mean, you don't want evil to wreck your life. I mean, you might want to bless them, but you don't want them too close. You don't want to be in fellowship with the ungodly. Not really. That's a big cost. They'll choose you if they want godliness, and if they don't, well, they must find out what the world's like. If they want answers, they can always ask and come to you. You're always open. You're always there for them in that sense. And, the dead religion, too, of Christianity. I don't mean the charismatic Christianity now. I mean the sort of, stiff upper lip and, the minister must be right, but he's got very strange theology, but I'm sure he's the church anyway, isn't he? If you're in that sort of level of living, then yeah, you need a miracle to happen in your life. Something that's totally inexplicable to jar you out of your complacency and your resignation. This is all there is. Yeah, sure, I would like something wonderful, but, well, it's not there, is it? That's your view, you see? And very sad it is too, and very costly to all around you, because negativeness breeds negativeness, like the plague. But joy breeds joy like the plague too. I bounce into a room if I'm, if I have opportunity, I can lift whoever's talking to me. They're lifted just by talking to me. Of course, I know God. God is who they need. They can't quite see him, but they are clear that they would like to be joyful and happy. And why have you got it so good, Marshall? So I have to assure them, no, in material terms, I've not got what you think of as so good. What I've got that's so good is this joy and this assurance. And you need that. Come to me. And I will give you, if you had asked of me, I would have given you fountains of living water, springing up unto life eternal. Yea, Lord, I believe. Give me this water. So she says, and she goes away and she gets the men of her village, who are the only people she does relate to. She doesn't bring the women. They're horrible to her because she's beyond the pale as far as they're concerned. But the men, well, of course, she relates to a lot of the men, and all for the wrong reasons, of course. But they come and they say, well, we don't now believe because of what you said, but we've met him ourselves and we're convinced. And he stays 3 days. He's supposed to be passing through. And he's in hostile territory. I mean, Samaritans don't love the Jews. Jews don't love the Samaritans. He's in Samaria. Yeah. It's a story. Don't get hung up on how does this fit into history and all that stuff. Have no interest. The story gives you the truth that you need. Do you see? Do you see? Bless you. Thank you, Dad. Look, joy is a byproduct. I'm not, like in the Buddhist thing, I'm not simply avoiding suffering. That's not my goal. And it's not simply achieving transcendent joy, which is the Ananda and Hindu thing. No way. Joy is a byproduct. I'm not actually now seeking anything other than to be his friend. God, I would love that. To be his eternal friend. A friend in such a capacity, and I mean probably his capacity as well, to be a good friend. I would love to be his eternal good friend. And I am. Because I'm his son. I trust that I'm his child. I trust that he is able to make me the friend that I want to be to him, that he would want me to be to him. And sure, there's joy and there's assurance and there's peace and hope and all the rest of it. But they're all byproducts. They are toys compared to what I have in him. That's what gratitude does to you. It's absolutely wonderful. I recommend it for you. I commend it to you. Practice thankfulness. It doesn't require slavish obedience and exercise and practice and renunciation and guilt and shame and forgiveness and all those terrible things that religion has produced. And the reward is not ice cream and chips. The reward is the best friend. Period. And that's the end of the matter. What could be more valuable than that? I know what I have delivered, and am persuaded that he is able to keep that which I've delivered unto him against that day. That's one of the Christian songs. And perhaps I'm quoting it a bit out of context, their context, but it's my context. Love you, Dad. Love you, Dad. Love you, Dad. Thank you, Dad. Do you have trouble with addictions and terrible things in your life and regrets, and they're no handicap at all? They'll take care of themselves. Don't attack the enemy. Simply keep the best friend in the universe and beyond, of course. Focus on God, not on your enemies. Focus on God. He'll lift you up. Because he's all loving and all good. Because he's your dad. And you're his child. And he loves you to bits.